Hey everyone, this is Justin. I'm just doing a real quick overview of the video survey review for Adams Outdoor and the final results of all this effort. I've gone ahead and loaded a lot of this information into the davydrones.myrokeeper.com. So this is like our experimental sandbox for where we're kind of putting this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, and then I want to quickly show everyone how to jump to the points of interest. So when you first log in, you're in Southern California because that's where our first Davy Drone project happened. But what I'll do instead is I'm going to click on Map Tools, and there's two options over here. I'm going to choose Adams Outdoor Line of Sight. That's going to zoom my map to this particular area where we have two layers I really want to bring everyone's attention to. The line sight layer and the advertising structure layer. So the advertising structure are these green points. This is where there's actually billboards, and what we did is we took the billboard data straight out of the MyRokeeper site for Adams and loaded it into this Davy Drones just as a straight copy. The little red segments that you can see at this extent, those represent the line of sight as processed by watching the videos. So Jim Jenkins was set up to review the videos and identify where there's a billboard and capture the start timestamp and the end timestamp of the video. And from that information, we were able to correlate it to the GPS stream and determine these little segments of video, or where GPS streams with a video attached. So if I scroll in here a little bit closer, this GPS location field layer will come on, as well as the overall drone flight. Those represent holistically the entire video data set, but I'm just going to turn those layers off because I'm only interested in looking at the segments. So we kind of cherry picked through and got out the highlights, so to speak. So if I click on this green point, I can see that there's a advertising structure listed here. And if on the Google Street View, you can kind of see it on the edge there. Let's just jump in and kind of work our way down, and then we'll scroll around and we'll see, there's Red Falcon fireworks. So we can see the sign. And so that's the information tied here is what we actually captured doing the ground survey work. So this is what was identified using Rover and boots on the ground. There is a small segment here of the video survey, and so I'll go ahead and click on that. And this is what was developed by, in this case, Jim Jenkins watching the videos. And so he, watching just the video, kind of came up with his how many hours he thought the job would take, what the priority level was, and the percent obstructed. But the other thing that's of interest is that we went ahead and we snipped out the section of the video to correspond with that line segment. So if I go ahead and maximize this and push play, you'll see that this is using the start time that Jim identified and the end time, and we get down to the end of the video. Now there's definitely a couple of synchronization challenges, so you can see just how close we are to that point, and I'm pretty confident that on the map this particular point is where the billboard actually is, because that's where the Google Street View placed a marker. But you can just see the gap here. I mean, that's a fairly significant gap. So while the GPS stream and the video timestamps are they're independently collected, they're also maybe not tied within the near second. So like, 1.5 seconds on one may actually represent like 1 second on the other. So that's what I think is the cause of some of these little offsets. And our way to battle that would be to maybe be a little bit round up more often, like just assume that we want to go like maybe a second past what Jim had thought, but then that makes the line segments a little bit bigger. But that's it. That's how you can go through and you can review this information. I have a project narrative that I'm also going to post that kind of outlines a little bit more thoughts and talks a little bit about how we actually did this work. One thing that I want to just bring your attention to in case you don't read the narrative is notice that there is no green point with these identified segments. So Jim Jenkins didn't have a good way of knowing where atom structures actually were, and there's a lot of billboards along I-75 here, but not all of them are atoms. So I had suggested to Jim to just go ahead and capture it for all billboards he saw, and then we would sort it out at the end. In the end, Jim spent about 90 minutes and identified 21 segments that had billboards, but out of those 21 segments, only 3 of them related to atoms. So we would probably want to change our approach to give Jim a little bit more of awareness of which sections of the videos he needs to focus on. The big hang up for us was the video start time and the GPS stream start time not lining up, and needing to determine those offsets and probably fix the process data on MyRoadkeeper to not include any of those coordinates that aren't related to a video, which I wasn't expecting to only have 3 out of 21 matched, so we went ahead and thought we'd just power through it instead of applying development time to fine-tune the process there. Okay, so thanks for your time. I really do appreciate it, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you, everyone. Take care.